morning, everybody. I'm Lynn Thompson, Strategic Advisor to the MEAC, and I want to thank you for joining us for week number 10 of the 2025 Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Weekly Football Coaches Video Conference presented by WellsFargo. As always, let's go over the procedures very quickly. The conference is going to start by asking each head coach questions about the previous matchups and the upcoming games before then opening the call to questions from you, the media reps. For this week's session, we're going to limit the coaches' questions to one each from each media rep, with additional opportunities provided as time permits. To simply ask a question, use your raise hand feature. Remain muted until you are introduced, and if you will be so kind as to remove the raised hand feature after your question has been asked, we'd appreciate that. That'll help us a lot. So let's get started. This past week marked the second week of MEAC conference action, what we like to call a 5-week chase to the MEAC championship. And as the dust settles, we are starting to see some separation at the top of the standings. After all the action kicked off Thursday night, wrapped up over the weekend, 2 teams now have emerged with perfect 2-0 records. 2 are sitting at 500, and 2 are still looking for that first conference win at 0-2. But make no mistake about it now, there's still a lot of football left to play over the next couple of weeks. That means plenty more fireworks, upsets, and drama from the league as our teams fight to stay in the hunt. Today, we're going to hear from our MEAC coaches. They're going to recap last week's games, give us a look into what's ahead, and they're going to offer that insight that can only come from their view at the top. And so we're going to kick things off by heading to the Mecca, where we'll check in with head coach Howard Bison, Coach Larry Scott. Good morning to you, Coach Scott. How are you today?
Lynn, good morning. How are you?
We're doing good, Coach. We're doing good. That was a tough Saturday for the Bison. I mean, offensively, you couldn't get a lot going on the ground. And defensively, though, the Bison had 4 takeaways, but big plays by Central led to a 21-0 halftime deficit that in the end was too much to overcome. Let's talk about it, Coach. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, you just summed it up right there. When we weren't able to establish anything really truly in the run game, and those guys were able to pin their ears back and kind of get after the quarterback pretty good when we had to throw it and those type of things. So we didn't run the ball very well. We didn't protect very well. I think that's kudos to them. I think they had a real good plan of attacking what we, were trying to get done, and did a really good job neutralizing that. And then, they had a guy on offense that just had a career day. And when you see something like that happen and a guy just go off like that for you, 9 catches, I think he had 9 catches for 208 yards. Career day for that young man. You tip your hat and say, man, job well done. We were playing a lot of man coverage, and when you're playing man coverage, guys got to see it, throw it, catch it, and they did a hell of a job of doing that. The quarterback played really well. That receiver made some plays. The ball placement on some of those throws was, we'd be right there, in transition, in coverage, and a young man just went up and made it his game and his ball game. So kudos to him. He played a hell of a game. The quarterback played a hell of a game. They had a hell of a plan. They came in here with their backs against the wall and responded really well and went away with a W. Tip my hat to them and their staff. They did a hell of a job.
Coach, in spite of the loss, though, the Bison are 1-1 in league play and travel to Orangeburg to face the 2-0 Bulldogs. A win there puts you at 2-1 and still in the thick of things at the halfway point of the championship chase.
Yeah, man, we got to let all that stuff play out. We got to get to playing some good football to give ourselves a chance at any of that type of stuff. So right now, we just got to kind of head down mentality about getting better and improving and finding a way just to win a football game. And I think that's what our mentality and mindset will be. It has been. But we definitely now, with the things on the line, and we all know what those are, and the players all know what that is. I don't think we have to talk a whole lot about it. What our focus needs to be on is that, hey, man, it's another opportunity to go play football. We know what type of environment we're going into. A lot of guys, some of the guys that are on this team have been down there before, know that they love football down there. The fans love football. It's one of the places you still see true Winnebagos and tents and things parked outside and tailgating and all of that good stuff. So you're going into a hell of a college football environment to play a really, really good football team that are the defending MEAC champions. And they're out and running right now, defending that championship and playing really good football. And no doubt in my mind that, Coach Berry's going to have those guys stoked up, ready to go and playing to that caliber and playing to that identity. So we're going to have to play our best football, and no hands down. We have to go in and play the best football we played all season and give ourselves a chance, and we know that. Our team knows that, and the approach started yesterday afternoon after we rinsed out last weekend.
Okay, Coach. Let's turn it over to the media now, Coach. Questions coming from them. For the media reps, use the raise hand feature. Remain muted until you're called upon, and then limit your questions to one each for Coach Scott. With that said, let's go to James Hill. Good morning to you, James.
Good morning, Coach Scott, and everyone on the call. I hope you are all well. Coach, can you talk a little bit about the offensive line and the D line, the line of scrimmage as you go into Orangeburg, and how important that is as you move forward?
Yeah, that's where the football game starts, right? Starts up front on both sides. So, in any game that you go into, we've been kind of having to shake our lineup up a little bit here and there with some injuries, and we lost two of our starting offensive linemen in the Richmond game early in the year to season-ending injuries, and so we've been having to plug and go and move some guys around and have a next man up mentality, and those type of things. So we kind of been trying to still find the right formula of guys up front for us in our starting five. And got to get that figured out real quick, as we got 4 days before a plane takes off here from DC and heads down to Orangeburg. So we got to get that figured out. And then obviously we're going to be facing a really good front. And I think Coach Berry prides himself and builds their identity around his front, just like myself. He's a former O-line guy, and that's where we start, up front with those deals. And they got a really good offensive front that, moves people and plays cohesively together and play on the string and kind of know what they're doing. And their defensive front is really aggressive. They're really good first steps off the ball, play really good with their hands, transitions well, in and out of gaps, and can get off blocks and run to the ball and play hard. And they play a good rotation of guys up front there. Zero being, the main guy that you better know where he is and what he's doing. He's, low to the ground, compact, twitchy, physical, plays with a high motor. So this is definitely going to be a challenge for us up front. And then I think that's going to be the difference in where this game is played. And last week we kind of had a pretty rough go there with the North Carolina Central front on defense. So we got to tighten up there this week if we want to give ourselves a chance to win. But that's definitely on both behalves where I think a lot of this game is going to be played out at. As it is down the stretch when you're talking about playoff style or championship style football, you better be winning the line of scrimmage to give yourself a chance to win.
All right, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, James. Let's toss it over to Wayne Cartwright. Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning to you, Lynn, and good morning to you, Coach Scott.
Wayne, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, sir. So, you had already alluded to about, you guys with the run game with just 35 yards in the game, and you alluded to, North Carolina Central, how well they played. But my question for you is, you're facing a team in South Carolina State that's a little bit in the similarities in the way that they throw the ball to what you just faced. They average 289 yards a game in the air, which is up there in the FCS ranks pretty high. For you guys coming off of what you saw this game, though, what are some of the takeaways that you guys have initially seen of your team that you need to do this week that you can try to apply it a little bit better to hopefully have a better showing in defending the pass against South Carolina State?
Hey, Wayne. Okay, I'll tell you what. Did you watch the game? Did you go back and watch it yet?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see the guy number 0?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was. And did you see the coverages that we were playing?
I did.
Can you tell me what those coverages were?
You said it. You said you played a lot of man coverage. But my question though is
what's what I'm saying? When one guy comes to the ballpark that day and has a day like that, I think you go back to it, and when you isolate the game like that, and you make it a one-on-one isolation, and the guy wins his matchup, that's what it becomes. So what we have to do is eliminate a guy in a one-on-one situation, right? So you take what you're doing, you kind of saying it's not the structure of what you're doing. It's making sure you match up well, make sure you play with good technique, you play with good fundamentals, you play the football in the air. And even though you may have guys open, so I'm saying that young man came in and had a day, but the quarterback was on the money. I mean, you couldn't have thrown the ball and some of the ball placement of where he was placing the football that day any better. And he missed some throws. There were some throws where he was still running wide open, and we got him off his platform a little bit, and he missed some of those throws. So, I think that was a combination day of a quarterback that throws the ball really, really well. Two people that were in sync, that day. The ball placement was on point. So to answer your question, though, if we want to be in man, we got to play with better technique, better man eyes. We got to play better fundamentally. We got to play the ball better in the air. And all of those things when we're in those situations. And other than that, then you got to get up front. You got to get after the quarterback. If people have time to just, let a guy work and man coverage, and we're not getting him off his platform and making him move around the pocket or getting to him and putting pressure on him, then you're gonna be in on a rough day when they got a guy like that. So I think if we're gonna play those coverages, which we will, and we'll mix and do some different things here and there. We better be playing with really good fundamentals. We better be playing with really good technique. We better be ready to play the ball in the air. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. When you're making a man game, Bubby, it's me and you, and it's 50-50, and who's gonna win it depends on who wants it more. So we just got to want a little bit more in those situations and play better.
Yeah, I appreciate the transparency and the answer there, Coach, as always. And good luck in Orangeburg.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Wayne. Coach, the final question for you this morning comes from Doc Holliday. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good, Lynn. How you doing, Coach Scott? Uh-oh. Let me see.
I think he just went mute. Coach, can you hear us?
Can you hear me, Lynn?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay,
I think we're having a problem with Coach.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now, Coach. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh no, I said, Doc, I'm doing good, man. The sun rose up this morning. I'm gonna both my feet, 10 toes down, and we're attacking it and going to work. So I'm doing great, brother.
All right. How you doing? Okay. Going into this game, from the game on Saturday, I'm looking at on team stats, the 9 penalties that you had. What are some things you want to try to do to eliminate some of the mental aspects of those penalties and either the silliness of the penalties too?
The silliness, which one are you referring to was a silly?
I mean, like just excuse me. I wouldn't say just unsportsmanlike conduct, any kind of penalty that kind of push you in a hole. Just the regularity of the penalties that you had, right?
The penalties that I was concerned with is some of the holding penalties. Now, whether those are some of just the judgment of the official and what his viewpoint is on that call, or what have you, and what we're control is our fundamentals, right? Where our hand placement is, and me moving our feet and having our feet and hips being aligned with where they need to be to be in a position where those things aren't holes. And to me, that comes right back down to technique and fundamentals. And those are the ones that I'm concerned with, because we seem to be stringing a couple of those along, and in particular being, one person in particular that is having a big issue with that. That when we come down to it, so right, you got to look at it and say, whether is it a personnel thing or is it a fundamental and technique thing. So we're making those adjustments to get some of that stuff cleaned up. As far as what type of penalties can be go into 2 categories. It can be a physical aggressive penalty and you're playing ball, or you're talking pre-snap. And to me, pre-snap penalties are the silly penalties. And I think we might have had 1 or 2 of those false starts and those type of things. Those are things that you control in the grasp of the game. If you're going on sportsmanlike blocks in the backs and all that stuff, that's discipline. So some of these things like that, but we're not having an array of those. It's the holding penalties that we're having, and I think we had 2 false starts. So those are things that are all in our control that we can definitely isolate, cut up, show a film up, and get corrected and get cleaned up. And that's just a part of football across the scope. But you're definitely right in the aspect of they have to be eliminated if you want to play better football down the stretch. But that's a good question.
All right, appreciate you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Doc. Coach, we're going to slip one more in. Dr. J. Kenyatta Cavill is here with a question for you.
I always got time for Doc.
I'm good. How you doing this morning, Coach Scott?
I'm doing well, Doc. How you doing?
Good. I know it's cold at those sports, but I like the vest. It's a nice look. Some people get all the blessings in terms of making it look right.
That's why you like that, Doc. That's why you like that.
It's going like hip hop days. I hear you. Hip hop's not dead. As we say, Coach, in all seriousness, I want to talk a little bit about that defense. Your defense has really been game changing, if you allow me to use that, all season long. In this game, the Eagles of North Carolina Central were able to kind of get things going. Yeah. How have you seen the body of work of your defense? What do you want them to continue to do? And it seems like maybe they took a little step back, and that happens during the season. But where would you like them to focus to get back to what they were doing so successfully before conference play, certainly their first matchup in conference play, and moving beyond that?
Yeah, just truly playing, getting back to playing through our identity. You know, what we are is what we are, and we're well trained and well versed in that. And as far as what we do defensively, and just, you know, getting back to that, we kind of misfit a couple gaps early structurally,
Okay.
with some of the runs that they were able to get out, which has kind of been a surprise for us. You know, we've been really good against the run all year, and I think they hit a couple on us that hadn't gotten out in the past. But they were able to get out some pretty clean runs and due to some misfits or some structural problems, some structural issue that we did eventually get cleaned up. However, you know, it had gotten to us a couple times. And then as far as, like I said earlier, man, you know, the young man came in here. I'm not going to take anything away from the performance that young man had on Saturday. Not one thing. And the quarterback was on point. The ball was well thrown. The ball placement was there. And if you're a football coach, you're a football fan, you got to tip your hat to when you see really good football on display like that. And that young man came in and had a day. I mean, was he again 9 for 208 yards receiving? I mean, his run after the catch, his ability to attack the ball in the air, his body adjustments, and to the throws and different things like that. And then, you know, sometimes, like I said, we had guys right there, and this young man just went up and was determined and made plays. And so, you know, in the one-on-one matchup like that, we got to do better and defend that better. When you're put in those situations, you know you're going to be in those situations, and so you got to show up when the ball's in the air. And so I'm not going to take anything away from that kid. That kid came in here, man, and performed his butt off. And you know, I didn't get a chance to get to him after the game, but I definitely went over and shook his hand and said, "Man, job well done, him and the quarterback." And so that's all I can say about that. But we just got to play through to our identity. Get back to, you know, stopping the run, and then we're in those situations, trust our technique and fundamentals, and play the ball better in the air to give ourselves a chance.
I like that formula, tip of the cap. See you next week. Look forward to the matchup. Take care, Coach Scott.
All right, appreciate it, Doc.
No
All
problem.
right. Thanks, guys. Coach, we're going to give you some time back. I know you got a lot of work to do. You got a trip going to Orangeburg this coming weekend. So thanks. Have a great week, okay?
Absolutely, appreciate it.
All right. Howard hits the road this weekend to Orangeburg, South Carolina. It's going to be Howard in South Carolina State Saturday, November 8th at Oliver C. Dawson Stadium with the 1:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN+. Let's roll on down to Durham now for our next interview with head coach of the North Carolina Central Eagles, Coach Trei Oliver. Good morning to you, Coach Oliver.
Hey, good morning, Lynn. How you doing?
Good, Coach. I mean, the Eagles went into D.C. this past Saturday looking to get back on track. And you did just that. I mean, storming out, to 21-0 halftime lead behind the red-hot connection of Walker Harris to Chauncey Spikes. And meanwhile, the defense was locked in, holding the Bison to under 200 total yards of offense. Coach, you just heard Coach Scott talk about tipping his hat to the two ball players that had stellar days. But what did you see that were the dominant keys in such a win on the road?
Yeah, well, you know, the week got started off pretty tough last week. Middle of the week, I found out two of my defensive staff members, two coaches, were going to deal with some personal matters and weren't going to be able to make the trip to DC. So we had to shuffle some things around and from a responsibility standpoint. But you know, Walker Harris and Chauncey Spikes had an unbelievable day, and you know, we knew they were going to play a lot of man on us, and we challenged our guys. You know, we had to win on the perimeter, and I didn't think we did a good job of that the previous week. But trying to get over that tough loss last week and dealing with the staff changes for game day this week, you know, we had our hands full, and obviously going to DC and playing, you know, a very physical Howard football team. You know, whenever we play those guys, it's always a battle, you know, and we knew they were big and physical up front, and defensively, we couldn't let them lean on us. So we had to try to, you know, move a lot up front, and we didn't want to let their quarterback get comfortable back there in the pocket. So, but you know, I thought our guys played really well. You know, we did have a couple turnovers that led to points, and we had a block punt that was unacceptable. But we were fortunate to come out of there with the win and to get our first conference win.
Coach, I think now you look ahead to this week's matchup. You got Norfolk State coming to town, and the Spartans gave Delaware State all they could handle last Thursday night in Philly, and they look like a team that's just a few plays away from putting it all together. Let's break down this matchup in Durham, and what are you expecting from Norfolk State coming into town Saturday?
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, they've been in some close games early and then kind of got away from a couple games, but you know, offensively, you know, Alder Coons kid, he's been in the league forever, and we've seen him quite a bit. And, you know, athletic quarterback, he's a competitor, tough young man. And then on the perimeter, they got three receivers number 5, 6, and I believe 13. Those guys can flat out play. So we're gonna have to be, really good, obviously in the back end this week, and then defensively. Since they made a coordinator change and Steve Adams taking over defensively, you can see a huge difference with these guys' energy and effort, and just schematically, they're much sounder now in the last 2 weeks, and they've been playing much better ball. So, it's another test this week, and we can't look at the record, and we can't think about whatever the case may be. We got to come to play and play at the highest standard.
Okay, Coach, that's it for me. Let's open it up from the media reps. Dr. Cavill, I see you got your hand up. You go first.
Again, Lynn, this is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. How's it going, Coach?
I'm well, Doc. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. I wanted to talk about your senior wide receiver, Chauncey Spikes, 6'2", 210 pounds from Burtonville, Maryland, as you know. He doubled his output on the season, getting in the end zone 3 times. Really had a big game, 9 catches for 208 yards for those that didn't know it. Had a long of 80. Talk about his maturation, his play, and specifically what he was able to do in this matchup.
He's a young man that came in, and we talk about be great here, and it's an acronym we use, and it starts with belief. And, I think when he came in earlier, his freshman, sophomore year, he had all the physical ability in the world, but there was something that wasn't registering there. And we sent him to the counseling center over here. Dr. Kennedy does an outstanding job with mental health, and, talk to our team, psychologists and all that stuff. And I don't know what they did over there, but I mean, the kid came back this year with a totally different mindset. And, he's a dog now, and he's been that, but it's all about believing in yourself, and mental health is so important. And, the mind is something, and it's powerful. And, he doesn't think anybody can stop him now. And the big thing was we knew we had to win on the edge. And somebody, whether it was he, Chance Peterson, Makai Wall, somebody's got to win and come up big on the perimeter. And he was able to make, beat man coverage and make some tough catches. And that's the big thing, man. When the ball goes in the air, it's a mindset. It's my football. And he went up there, and the DB was a lot of times in a great position and played through the ball, played to the ground. But Chauncey was able to come down with the ball. And it was unbelievable. He had a great day, and we definitely needed that.
Thank you, Coach Oliver, for breaking it down. I look forward to next week's matchup. Have a good one. Take care.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right. Now, next question comes from Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Oliver, congrats on the win. How are you today?
I'm good, Wayne. How are you?
Doing well. So coming into last week, Norfolk State was tied for 106th in turnover margin in America. And I know a lot of that is what feeds into some of the things you guys do well on defense, which is in your secondary, you guys have 9 interceptions on the year. You alluded to the receiving core that Norfolk State has. So this week with your secondary, what are the things that you guys are, going to talk to your guys about and kind of stress about, the way that they defend this week in the secondary against those receivers?
Well, the thing about it is you can't play, they can have great speed, and you want to keep everything in front of you, but you can't play too far off, because now they can nickel and dime you, and then they make you miss in space. So as far as our technique, we have to be really good in the back end as far as our technique and tempo and out. You can't just backpedal away from receiver and create space. And at the same time, you can't sit there flat-footed and let them run by you, because they will make you pay. So, that's part of it. And then the second thing is, you're going to have to send some pressure to speed them up. We can't let them sit back in the pocket all day and let these guys have time to run double moves and all this stuff. So we're going to have to pick and choose as far as, dropping back in zone coverage and playing a little softer, and then tighten up the coverage and bring some pressure. So it'll be a chess match, and we can't give up cheap ones. And that's the big thing. They had a couple against Del State and previous games. So, and then have to be opportunistic. When the ball comes to us, we have a saying here: if you catch the bad ones, you'll be all conference. So, catch the overthrows, those tip balls, and you'll be all conference. But you said we got 9, we probably dropped 12 if we caught 9 of them.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you, Coach. Good luck this week at home.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne. Chris Stevens, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, Lynn. Thanks for thanks. And good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning again, Chris.
So I listened to your post-game interview on Saturday. You said you had a good time dialing up plays on the defensive end. I know that you were missing a couple of staff members, For those who may not be familiar with the inner workings of a college coaching staff, could you kind of elaborate and explain why it's important to have a staff that is on the same page? So maybe if you do miss a guy or two, that you guys aren't missing a beat come game day.
Well, yeah, as a defensive staff, we sit down together and we put the game plan together. And then obviously on Saturday, one person, defensive coordinator, will call the game. But really, the plan that we put together, you put it on the call sheet, and really anybody can call the game, any staff member, off of the situations that are on that call sheet. But it's just different when you go on a trip and guys are expecting to see their position coaches in these meetings and having a routine. And Friday night we'll meet with my position coach, we watch film, we go over tips, reminders. Saturday morning we walk through, my coach is there for any questions I have. And when you're down two coaches and the play caller, it was a little taxing. But I didn't get much sleep Friday night because it's been a while since I had called a play, probably 2018. But I enjoyed it. That's part of coaching that I miss. As a head coach, like I always say, I don't call plays. I let my coordinators call the plays. But it was fun to get back and wear that hat on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time as always. Best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Great question, Chris. Let's go on over now to James Hill. James.
Hey, Coach. I hope you and everyone on campus are well. How are you, sir?
I'm well, James. How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. Your quarterback, QB1, Mr. Walker Harris, 17 of 29 for 321, 4 TDs, 2 interceptions, 1 sack. Just talk about his contribution versus Howard, and then just the mindset offensively of your team going into Norfolk.
His contribution to Howard, those 2 interceptions that he threw. He scrambled out of the pocket and he tried to throw a ball, 1 ball away and didn't throw it out of bounds. And the safety made a great play, tapped his feet and intercepted the ball. So I told him, when you scramble, you have to throw it in that lake over there behind the press box. Make sure it gets out of bounds. And then the other one was a great interception. As a matter of fact, by our staff member here, son, number 44 linebacker, made a great play on the ball. But, Walker's done a great job as far as, again, I always say managing the game. And the big thing is going through progression and throwing the ball to where, going with the ball where he should. Now, towards the end of the game, I don't think he really cared. He was going to Chauncey spikes regardless of the coverage or what was going on. But, it's a team effort. The O-line has to block, obviously. And then, Mosley got banged up early in the game and A.J. Rogers came in and he did an outstanding job, had 100 yards. So, overall a team effort.
Good luck versus the Spartans.
Yep, thanks.
Coach, the next question comes from Doc Holliday. Doc
Holliday, HBCU Overdrive. How you doing today, Coach Oliver?
I'm good, Doc. How you doing today?
I'm trying to wake up.
Say that every week, man.
Oh yeah. Going into the game, just really going into the game with the offensive mindset. But let's go ahead and talk about the defense and talk about Max Sharin. Tell me what type of contributions that he gives to you, being in this program for so long.
Yeah, Max, the old man. He came in here. He was a true walk-on, and he's developed. He's developed like none other, and that's a testament to our strength coach Thomas Carroll. And Max is a guy that's going to stay in the coach's office and watch film all day long. He's a leader of the team and great young man. And he, obviously he's the leader of the defense when he's out there, gets guys lined up, and he's been obviously very steady for us. But he has a football mind and he has a great idea about where the ball's going to hit, great instincts and things of that nature. So we just need a couple more guys playing on Max's level.
All right, appreciate you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Coach, the final question for you this morning comes from Darryl Duvall. Darryl.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing this day?
I'm good, Darryl. How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, I just want to say, congratulations on your win. And, how proud are you on your team performance against Howard? I know you kind of talked about this in the as you were talking and asking questions.
Yeah, it's hard to get a read of these guys because we come out in pregame and they had a medical emergency in the bleachers and praying that person had a healthy recovery and everything. But the game kind of got held up for about 10 minutes and guys standing outside the locker room, and we come out in pregame. I didn't know where we were. I thought we were a little flat, but I think the guys were just focused and locked in. So it's kind of hard to read the team, man. But I am very proud of them. We had a devastating loss last week, and for us to, brush that off and be able to come back and respond on the road against a very tough team, that I was excited about that. But great team effort, and I thought our staff did a great job coming up with a game plan. And we got to try to piece another one together this week.
Well, good luck this weekend coming up, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for your time this morning. We know you got a busy week to get ready for a home game against Norfolk State. So we'll see you next week, same time. For all of you who are out there listening, Norfolk State will be rolling into Durham to play the North Carolina Central Eagles Saturday, November 8th at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium in Durham on the campus, 2 p.m. kickoff on ESPN+. Our next interview this morning is going to happen in Dover, Delaware. We're going to roll over there to talk with the head coach, DeSean Jackson. Good morning to you, Coach Jackson.
Good morning, Len. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Your Hornets rolled into Philly on the last Thursday night lights in front of 47,000 plus, and Dell State improved to 6-3 on the season, and more importantly, 2-0 in league play. That 27-20 win over Norfolk State was a lot tighter than most of the experts predicted. Walk us through it, and what stood out to you about your team's performance on national TV?
And it was a lot leading up to that game, and I think all season, we had 7 games previous before this game right here on October 30th, and I know for sure this was a game that was circled. Just a lot of emotions. I don't feel we played our best ball, but at the end of the day, and college football is hard enough to win a football game. We was able to come out here with a win, but I just think the aroma, the lights, playing in a big time stadium like that. It was just a lot riding on that game. Probably some of the most people in the stands that my players have never played in front of as well too. So, I just understand that, Coach Michael Vick did a great job of having Norfolk riled up and ready to play. They played us tough. It was a tough physical fight battle, and we need to see more of that, man. I think that was great for HBCU football. The culture was great. And, man, just besides the win or the loss, man, that outcome was huge, man, for us to be able to go in our backyard in Philadelphia. We had so many memories, and that outcome in that game was a very successful one. So hats off to Michael Vick. I know his record doesn't show into, the great things that he's doing down there in Virginia. And, hopefully he continues to do his thing. But, we was able to get out of that one. It's a tough one, but we won. That's all that matters.
All right, well, you got another big one coming up this Friday night in Baltimore against Morgan State. Morgan State team looking to change their slate, Coach, with a chance to go 3-0 in conference play. For you, this is a huge opportunity now to keep momentum going, Coach. So what do you see now from Morgan State on tape?
Morgan State, man, they're a tough physical team as well too, man. Back-to-back weeks. Even going back to SC Central, the MEAC conference, man, it's a lot of competition in this league, in this conference, man. I think everybody needs to recognize that, week in and week out, guys are going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. And I tell my guys all the time, if you want to be a championship team, every game is going to be tough, right? Because right now, every game we play will be considered a championship game. So, Morgan State, they do a great job of up front. They got some physical guys on their defensive line. Their defense flies around. They move. They swarm to the ball. Offense, they got a quarterback that can run, and got a big arm as well too. And they're gonna make some plays. So, we just got to take care of our responsibility, which is to be prepared all week. We had a few extra days off because we played on Thursday, so we was able to get out yesterday and get a practice in as well too. So we'll just detail the workup throughout the week like we always do, and keep the main thing the main thing.
Okay, Coach, that's it for me. Hold on, we got some media reps who got questions lined up for you. As a reminder to the media, use the raise hand feature until you are introduced. And then once your question is asked, take the raise hand feature down, okay? First, we're going to slate them up with the first question from Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. Doc.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Jeff.
Hey, good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hashtag New Jack Era. I like that.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about Caden Bennett and his ability to decipher the field. He passed the ball and connected with 10 receivers through the game, obviously for 158 yards, but that was pretty amazing. Talk about his ability to dissect the field, oftentimes they talk about his feet and what he's able to do there, but to spread the ball around like that is pretty unique and efficient in this game, particularly at the college level.
Yeah, I mean, Caden Bennett, man, I can't talk enough about Caden Bennett and how much of a better team that he makes us when he's out on the field. He's been dealing with a few injuries as well too, so it just really shows his character. And how in that game on Thursday he went out for a few series, and he went in the locker room and had to get some things taken care of. But when he came back out there, man, it just shows his grit, man. Hey, Norfolk played us tough. We understand that we wasn't able to really do what we wanted to do in the run game. We had one of our linemen down in that game. Our left tackle went down, Elijah Payne. So we had to have somebody else step up, and they just did some great things up front. So we, even though I think we ran for like 200 yards, we didn't, do the normal, right? And we had to open it up in the pass game because they got us on first and second down. They got us kind of, behind the sticks a little bit. So we had to rely on the pass game. They stacked the box on us. They had a 6-man box, but it really was like a 7-man box because the free safety came down in the box and just kind of made it tough for our linemen to, push up to the linebackers. And a lot of times there was a linebacker on a running back, and that's not the ideal situation. So Caden Bennett, has some certain looks in his hands where he had to come through for us, and he was able to come through. It was a blown coverage. He threw to Ryan Pelham to score in the third quarter. So, I mean, for us, man, we know what teams are going to do. They know, everybody in the world knows we're going to run the ball, and we don't care, what you do. You got to stop it. And sometimes, a team is going to be tough on us, like Thursday night, and we just had to shift a little bit. And Caden Bennett stepped up, and he was 16 for 18, man. Only missed two opportunities, and in order for us to be the team we want to be, he's going to have to step up and play that type of ball.
Thanks, Coach Jackson. Look forward to the matchup next week. Take care.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, Coach. Next one is from Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Jack, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, Wayne, I'm good. Yourself, bro?
Doing well. So my question for you this week is really simple, man. You guys started off the year as being a hunter, and now at this point of the season, you guys are in the hunted position. Yeah. So what does that mindset look like for your program, and how are you guys embracing that?
Man, all honesty to be kept, man, we don't really get too caught up in where we're at right now, right? We're 2-0. We've won 2 conference games. We know we still got 3 more on our schedule, right? And then at the end of the day, yesterday I told my team we're guaranteed 3 more games. And at the end of the day, what determines what we're gonna do and our goals and what we want to accomplish is gonna lie with these next 3 games. So I mean, it's a lot of distractions at times, some of these young men, they want to go do all the extra curriculum and have fun, hang out. But at the end of the day, man, all I ask my guys to do is just to lock in for another month, right? You got a month left, man, to do something special and legendary that hasn't been done here at Delaware State for a long time. So with all that being said, it's a one game at a time mentality that we've always had throughout the season. And as tough as it is to get these young men to be focused on one game, that's our only goal. We can't get too caught up in talking about the Celebration Bowl. Yes, it's a goal of ours. And yes, we understand that. And if we want to do that, we got to prepare to make it there. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of football left. We got 3 games and we can't disrespect the game. So, for us, we had a great practice yesterday, man. Like, as a lady, man, we've been practicing our butts off, man. And the times I went back last week, if you recall, I told my guys I don't feel like we had the best week of practice. And it shows, man, in the game, it shows. You go out there and it shows. So hopefully they understand the weeks we do have great practices, man, that, you see how it transitions on the game day. So, I just keep encouraging my guys to keep practicing hard, and hopefully it transitions for, game day.
Appreciate you as always, Coach Jack. Good luck Friday night in Baltimore.
Thank you, Wayne.
Up next for you, Coach, is James Hill.
Hey, Coach Jackson, I hope you and everyone on campus are well. How's it going?
Hey, I'm good, James, man. We're good. How you doing?
My man, I'm blessed. Talk a little bit about what you and Coach Vick, what you and all the coaches, you're pouring into these young men, and this is a beautiful thing for Black college football in general, right? Mm-hmm. We had the opportunity to see that recently in Philadelphia, and now you move forward in the MEAC going into Baltimore. but just talk a little bit about what you've been able to do with the Hornets and the Hornets Nation.
I mean, it's really, man, you know, it's all God's plan. You know, I talk about it all the time. You know, I tell my guys this story has been written already. You know, it's just on to whoever's a part of it and whoever is going to be involved in it to do their part, to a man or to a woman. You know, everyone has to play their part at a high role. And you know, when things are legendary, or you know, we talk about this championship role or whatever it is that you know you insight, everything has to be done a certain way. And you know, it's just almost like falling in love with the grind, falling in love with the process, becoming, you know, a brotherhood, you know, embracing the struggle, right? And you know, we talk about being uncomfortable all the time. We was uncomfortable in that game on Thursday, but it just showed how we stuck together. You know, it was some great plays, some great ball on both sides. Like I said, I tip my hat off to Coach Vick as well too, because you know, I don't think his great work is transitioning into wins and losses, but the things that he's doing, you know, for that university, man, is night and day. So, you know, right now I'm just fortunate the ball's, you know, is bouncing our way and we're getting some victories, but you know, that doesn't amount to all the work that all these men are putting into to inspiring these young men to just help change their lives, you know. And like you said, in college football in general, but obviously especially in HBCUs where you don't have the resources, you don't have the support of some of these big schools. So I mean, we do a hell of a job just trying to make sure, you know, everything is right. So on game days, you can see it. You know, like I say, it doesn't always transition into wins and losses, but you know, it's just bigger than me. It's bigger than Mike Vick. It's bigger than some of these other coaches because of the work we're doing is bigger than us.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week and good luck in Baltimore.
Yes, sir. Thank you, James.
All right. Doc Holliday is up next. Doc.
Doc Holliday, HBCU Overdrive. How you doing today, Coach Jackson?
Man, I ain't doing cool if you got a Dallas Cowboys hat on.
Hey, man, this is my hometown, dog. It's wartime today.
Man, hey, Len, do I got to answer this question, Len?
I know that you look. I know you a cow. I always say you always
say it right, Cowboy
killer.
killer. Say it right, Cowboy killer.
You been a Cowboy killer. So yes, we used to hate.
You know, I got to give you a hard time, dog.
But now, going into this game on a Thursday night, with the crowd being the way that it was, and all the excitement, you still had a football game to go out there and play, with your special teams and everything, block punts and stuff. But tell us about your running back duo with Gillis and James Jones, going for over 188 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. What are the things that you like from your backs that they did, and what are the things that you think they can actually improve on?
Yeah, well, I think in that game specifically presented, you know, some tough looks we haven't seen. You know, one thing about college football, the film don't lie, right? So you turn on that film and you watch the film, and you know some of their fronts and some of the things they was able to do, man. They had, you know, open guys that wasn't block tackling or running back. So, you know, they stayed patient. You know, they stayed within the game. Unselfish football. Obviously, they both block for each other. They're blocking for Caden Bennett. You know, in the pass game, they're tripping the D lineman. I mean, it's a lot of things that throughout of a course of a game, you know, if you're really looking at it and you seeing it, you know, how they're putting their bodies on the line for their teammates. And, you know, it just shows, man, when they get an opportunity to make a big play, man, everything else that they've done in the dark comes to light when they get a big run like that. Like James Jones, that run he got, I don't know if it's the third quarter or fourth quarter, but man, that sparked us, man. That brought some energy that, you know, usually we have about 3 or 4 of them runs in a game, and that was our only one in that game. So it just shows, man, they stay patient, they stay down, and you know, when the time arises for them to make a play, man, they're definitely there. So those 2 guys are our workhorse. I mean, we got other guys as well too that's a part of our workhorse, but you know, sometimes them guys gets the more visibility, and you know, they're just doing their job and doing it to a high level.
I appreciate you, Coach Jackson. Congratulations to them Dodgers.
For sure, bro. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, Chris Stevens, you're on.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Chris, I'm good, man.
You mentioned that Caden was going through some things. He mentioned that, you know, when he talked to us on Thursday night, I know that he and Jaden split a lot of reps. Going into this game Friday, with a short week, is there going to be any change of plans? Are you going to play it by ear with Caden, or is it just going to be business as usual as far as who's going to be the quarterback on Friday night?
Well, I mean, I think for us, honestly, it's not really a short week. We played Thursday, so we initially get our full Really, we get 8 days, but I gave the guys off. But just moving forward into this week, I think Caden's good. Like I say, he's going to have to do at this point. No one's 100% healthy, right? And this is football, and we understand that the things that he's dealing with, I don't think is to the extent where it's going to hurt the team. Now, if it was, that was the decision I would have to make. But I think he's going to do everything he needs to do to get himself ready for that game on Friday night. And it is a quick turnaround. Usually, this year we played on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So it's great to get that experience out there, man. It's a lot of visibility that's being put on us right now. I think this is going to be a ESPN2 or one of those whatever broadcasts. But I mean, for us, we need to do everything we could do to get all our guys healthy. We got a few other guys as well too that are banged up and needs to get in the training room and fall in love with the ice tub. That's what I consider it. But short week, for them, they play Saturday, so it's a short week for them. So hopefully we can have an extra day of work and get out there and do everything we need to do to win a football game. That's all that matters.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time as always. Best of luck this weekend.
Sir, thanks, Chris.
Okay, Dwayne Nash, you're on.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning?
I'm fine, Dwayne. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Now, you kind of reiterated something that you said during the broadcast on Thursday night, where you talked about how your team may have been taken aback a little bit by playing in front of the bright lights on a nationally televised game and in an NFL stadium. Now, albeit on Friday, you guys will be playing in a smaller stadium, it's still going to be a night game that's going to be on a national broadcast. Is that something that you feel as though that you have to adjust with your players coming up this week?
I mean, yeah, if we go back, I think we played two night games so far. I think the first one was at University of Delaware, and then last night as well too. So, for us, let's just go back a little bit. The past 2 years, man, these guys haven't been on a national stage like that, right? They've won 2 games in the past 2 years. So, in all essence, it is a lot of lights. It is a lot of primetime games being on the front line, but. I tell my guys this all the time, man. Regardless where you put that ball at, man, it goes the same way. Regardless of what field it's in, it's still got to be put in the middle of that field and played in between those 2 white lines. So, for us, we just have to do everything we need to do to make sure we're prepared and we're ready to play a football game. We can't. I mean, if we talk about we want to be this championship team and we want to rise to the occasion at the things that everybody's talking about, we have to be prepared and be ready to play on these big time stages. So. I know I'm comfortable playing in those moments. I just gotta get all my guys riled up and getting ready to go. But hopefully, the more we do it, the more we play. I mean, the more they'll settle down and just lock in. I think the biggest thing about that is, sometimes we just gotta settle down too antsy, too riled up, and we just gotta calm down and let the game come to us. As simple as that.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend in Baltimore.
Thank you, man.
Okay, Coach. Your next question comes from Darryl Duvall.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, Daryl. What's going on?
Pretty good. Hey, I just want to kind of talk about, we've been talking a little bit about the coaching, but I want to talk about your California transfer groups. A lot of your kids, you got a lot of kids from California. How are they adjusting to the environment from going from one side of the coast to the next, and also performing on and off the field?
Man, they're doing a good job, man. I tip my hats off to them guys, man, because when I had the opportunity to go to college, I stayed close to home. I went to Northern California. I'm a Southern California guy, so about 5-6 hours driving, about hour 45 minutes away flight. Some of these guys, man, like you said, are on the opposite end of the coast, and that flight is a 5-hour flight, and obviously we ain't gonna talk about a drive because they'll take all 2-3 days. But they've done a great job, man, honestly, of embracing it. And I think, it amounts to the culture at Delaware State as well, too. You got a great culture there. You got a school that embraces, people that are not from the Delaware area. And, that when they're on campus and they're at school, I mean, it's like their own community. Like, you don't really have to go off campus to really get anything. Everything is close and the environment is great. So, it just shows to the amount of how they lean on one another, man. Our football team is really a team. They're a brotherhood. They have fun together. So, I mean, a lot of them guys are comfortable, and I think they're taking care of their business and doing what they need to do. And I haven't had a guy come up to me and tell me he was homesick, man. So, it's almost like me as well too. I'm in the unfamiliar area as well too. So, I mean, they're looking like, man, Coach here, we all here, we a family, man, and we do things together, and we just embrace the the companionship. And as far as like the off the field, I mean, these guys are taking care of their business. You know, they're going to school. They're not getting in trouble off the field, and they're really just excited about the opportunity, man. I think everybody's really on this same plane together, man, to go accomplish something that hasn't been done in a long time. So, I mean, everybody understands, man. It's a lot riding on this, and we got to do what we need to do to handle our business.
Well, good luck. Again, man, you're doing a good job with, especially with your kids that's coming from California, and I mean, because that's a long ways. And you can't just say I want to go home. That's on the other side of the
For
world.
sure, you stuck. Real talk.
You
No, I
stuck.
appreciate that, Daryl.
All right, man. No
All right, yes,
problem.
sir. Yeah.
Thanks, Daryl. Andy Walter, good morning to you.
Good morning. Hey, Coach.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, your pass defense, I know you guys have been working on, but you're still giving up like 300 yards a game. How much of a concern is that? And, what are you trying to do to get that fixed?
I mean, as crazy as it sounds, man, giving up 300 yards in the air is not acceptable. We understand that. The crazy thing about it is, if you go look to the run side of it, I don't think they had over 100 yards running. So we was able to stop something. It just feel like sometimes we can't stop two things in one. I mean, if some games we got guys running in, passing on. Some guys they just pass. Sometimes they just run. So I mean, to be a championship coach or defense, we just got to get more stops. I really tip my hat off to our defense because in that game, if it wasn't for a few stops the defense gave us, man, we probably wouldn't have won that game. So, as much as we sitting here talking about them giving up 300 yards on the pass game, they still stopped the run game and they kept that quarterback in control somewhat, right? So, we just got to keep doing a good job of swarming together and playing together. And just, at the end of the day, as long as we score more than their offense, we're in good shape. We don't matter how I look or what the stats are. As long as we win, that's all that matters.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Andy. Last question for you, Coach, comes from Brandon King from sneakershoptalk.com. Brandon.
Good morning, Coach Jackson. How you doing?
What's going on, Brandon? I'm good, brother.
Right. All right. First of all, I wanted to congratulate you on getting a win on Thursday. Wanted to ask you, obviously, the program now is in a state where, and you touched on it earlier, getting some of the national attention. You're playing in front of NFL stadiums, 47,000 people, and this wasn't a championship game. Can you talk about how that feels to have the program in a position to where they're getting this type of attention, and not only necessarily for your program, but then you're getting to put the MEAC out there in front of a national audience and introduce them to the type of football that you play at Delaware State as well. Just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Honestly, it's an honor, man. Being in a position like this, man, where my career is helping me with relationships and owners like Jeffrey Lurie being able to bless us to be able to play at Lincoln Financial Field. It was a lot of work behind closed doors that had to be done to make this possible. And I think when it first even came up, you can ask Michael Vick about this. We didn't think it was going to be possible, right? And I initiated the first conversation to even make this to be known because this was our home game. So when I reached out and did everything I needed to do, it was almost surreal. It was a surreal moment. And I even told this to my team yesterday, man. It's bigger than me. I think it's bigger than Michael Vick. It's bigger than the things that we're doing, because at the end of the day, it's about these young men. And some of these young men we all once was young men before, and we know when you're a young man, you get in your own ways and you can't understand the moment until you're older and you look back like, man, I was tripping, or man, I should have did this. So, I just think it contests to, how much we care about our youth, how much we care about seeing them shine, and putting them on a national stage and level like that. Because at the end of the day, I have my moment. What I'm saying? I'm doing God's work. God's putting me in a position to, change the culture, the lives of these young men, and really shine light on them, because all the information I have, I say this all the time, I would be a nut to keep it all into myself, right? If I can pass it down, sprinkle down to each and every gentleman to help them in their career, that's more of the situation. So it was an honor, man. Hopefully this could be a legendary game that we can continue to keep this going. And, like I said, let the MEAC really get the shine as well, too.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that insight, Coach. And I know you mentioned what Coach Vick is done at Norfolk State and what he's doing, and obviously is, but you two are doing some great things and having an impact at Delaware State. So thanks for that, and appreciate what you're doing, and good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon. Coach, thank you for your time today. I know you got a lot of work to get back to. So we'll see you again same time next week. How's that? Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All right. That's going to be the red hot Delaware State Hornets going to go into Morgan State this Friday night, November 7th at Hughes Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, 7:02 p.m. kickoff on ESPNU. It's going to be ESPNU. Our next interview is with Norfolk State University's head football coach, Michael Vick. Good morning to you, Coach Vick. I see him there. Coach Vick, are you there with us right now? There you are. There you were. All right. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good, good. Coach,
Good.
we saw you on TV. The Spartans jumped out to an early lead against Del State and went to the locker room trailing 13-6 at the half. You had a few opportunities in the fourth quarter to even things up, eventually cutting it to 27-20, but you just couldn't get the ball back in the final minutes, man. Walk us through it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought we came out, came out playing. We started fast. Shot ourselves in the foot early. Was in the game. Our intention was to slow down the run game, neutralize that, score points on offense. A couple things that happened, throughout the game, especially early, that was questionable, but we just had to maintain our focus. And we had our opportunities. I think the block punt really gave them some momentum, especially going into halftime. Up until that point, I think we was doing really, really well in terms of executing our game plan. Couple mishaps here and there, couple plays that I know our quarterback would have had back, couple early sacks that put us in a bad position. And so we worked through, we fought, got to the fourth quarter, and they had another interception late, and was just trying to, manage the game from there. So, they played a great game. I thought we played even better, but just at times we didn't do what we needed to do.
Okay, Coach, and now you got another tough road test coming up. You got to go into Durham, North Carolina to play the Central Eagles. They seemed to find their rhythm last week with a big road win at Howard. What stands out to you about this North Carolina Central Eagles football team, especially that high-powered offense that keeps putting up big numbers and a defense that's really tightening up each week?
Yeah, I think they have a good quarterback to start. I think he does a great job protecting the football and going to the right places with the ball. Great running game. They play together on offense. On the defensive side of the ball, they got two good defensive ends, and they play really stout on defense. And they're always in position to make plays. You got to work for everything. Watching the Delaware State game, just a few minutes ago, it was tough sled. It was tough sledding, and then just hearing about the Howard game and about to watch that and break all that down. We got to come to play. We got to come to play. We accepting the challenge. We got to go down there and try to find a way to get a win.
Okay, Coach, that's it for me. Hold on just for a second. We got some questions coming. The first one comes from Wayne Cartwright. Wayne.
Thank you, Lynn. Hey, Coach Vick, how are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, you guys have had about 3 seasons worth of action inside of 9 games. And now with everything that's happened, you guys have 3 games left to play a spoiler role and develop a whole lot of goodwill and confidence for you moving forward. But in order to get that, Coach Vick, what is it going to take?
Yeah, it's going to take a good week of preparation. I think after watching the game this past week, we got to, look in and see like who are our guys, man, who are our guys who can go out and make a difference. I feel like, we move a lot of our offensive linemen around every week, just based on injury, based on performance, and got to find a way to get some continuity up front. That's going to be a primary focus moving forward. Just piecing this thing together, as if it was a puzzle. And, it's not, it's not coming easy to us right now. We gotta work extremely hard for everything that we're putting out. and it shouldn't be that way. But as coaches, we'll find ways to get those answers, and gotta finish this season strong, regardless of what. We gotta finish strong. We gotta go down to Central this week and find a way to win, be competitive, and play together. Most important. So definitely in the evaluation process right now. Going to get some guys out there, just see what they can do. I'm excited about that moving forward, but I got to see how I continue to shape and mold this football team moving forward.
Well, appreciate you as always, Coach Vick. Good luck this Saturday in Durham.
Thank you.
All right. Next question for you, Coach, comes from James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in the 7 cities are well this morning. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Hanging in there. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Coach, you've been able to give back to Black college football, the game in general, on all the levels. Just talk a little bit about the impact you're having on these young men. It's a game changer, a life changer. Your team is better than 1-8, the record, but just talk about the Spartans so far, what you see as you gear up and you go into Central this week.
Yeah, for the most part, man, it's been an amazing season. I tell you, when I go on the practice field, it's a surreal moment. It's a surreal feeling. I get a chance to go compete, and I just want to continue to be steady in that walk in my life, and continue to give it everything that I have. Continue to grow, continue to give back to HBCUs. Continue to pack the house here in Norfolk State. Continue to have amazing attendance. Continue to collaborate with teams like Jackson State, and just continue to be ingratiated in the culture. It really means a lot. I'm thankful that I'm here in Norfolk State. When it made a decision to go anywhere else, regardless of the record, I appreciate the opportunity to just be able to pour into our players, even though they can be a bunch of knuckleheads at times. I still love them to death, and I'm gonna teach them a lot about life and the mistakes that's being made and how to correct them and move forward, and not learn to do things the right way. So that's part of my responsibility. So it's really a blessing to be in this position, to be able to lead this football program, and know that better days are ahead. So keeping our heads held high, man, and just still pouring into the game at all costs.
Hey, good luck, Coach, and we really appreciate everything you're doing for these young men. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, James. Thank you.
Okay, Coach, up next for you is Dr. Kenyatta Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Talking about one of the players in particular is your senior, 6'3", 203-pound wide receiver from Montevallo, Alabama, J.J. Evans. He had a big game for you. 5 receptions, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long of 70, as you know. Talk a little bit about his play, his maturation, what he did, along with Sean Kendrick, who had 9 receptions, 112 yards, and got in the end zone himself.
You know what, man, JJ and Sean, man, those are guys who, I'm going to use as role models and examples for all the classes moving forward, for all the young men that we have that aspire to be great football players for Norfolk State University. Just 2 great young men. They don't complain. They do things the right way. They deserve everything that's going to happen for them in their careers moving forward. I'm glad that I was able to coach them. I love their character. I love how they approach the game each and every day. And I remember when I said this last week, I think in my press conference, if I can have 100 players which I know is not ideal, like JJ or like DeSean, this team wouldn't be sitting at 1-8 right now. But we got so many things that we can learn from. So many guys that set the right examples, and DeSean's a senior, and want to send him off the right way, and JJ just want to continue to work with him, man. And these guys got bright futures, but they've definitely stepped up for us the last couple of weeks, and I look forward to them finishing strong this season.
No doubt. Thank you, Coach Vick. Look forward to the next matchup. Good luck.
Okay, Coach, the next question comes from Darryl Duvall.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I just want to kind of emphasize on, and I know you kind of talked about this a little bit, but what areas are you more concentrating on going into the finish up strong, and then also going into 2026?
Yeah, for sure. On the offensive side of the ball, I think up front we got to gain more consistency in the run game. We got to continue to play faster. We got to find ways to execute better when it's needed, and when it's necessary. I want more consistency on the offensive side of the ball. I want more consistency from the quarterback position. I feel like we sort of turn it over, at least once a week, and we just can't play like that. We can't put the defense in positions like that. On the defensive side of the ball, continue to work hard defensively up front, working together, tightening up more on the back end, finding guys who can play more man coverage, finding guys who understand the defense, and just building for the future. Obviously, I don't want to overlook these last 3 games because each game is really important to our momentum moving forward, and so we want to concentrate on those games. But I definitely want to see, what my young players can do, how to get them integrated into what we're doing, so I know what to look for next season. And so look forward to that process and just building.
Well, good luck. Good luck next weekend, Coach. This weekend.
Sorry.
All right, Coach, your final question this morning comes from Dwayne Nash. Dwayne.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Morning, Dwayne.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about your offense. Primarily, it's play in the fourth quarter. From my perception, and I'm not the brightest person in the world, it seemed as if that your offense wasn't moving with any hesitancy late in the fourth quarter, especially in a situation where it felt as if the game still could have been within play. Now, is that a misunderstanding on my part, or are you guys still in an evaluation process with your team to see how it looks moving on into the future?
No, to answer your question correctly, it's always a sense of urgency on offense, man. I think it all starts with the quarterback. We've moved some guys around up front, and we just being honest with you, we got to play better up front. We got to play better in the passing game. In protection, we got to run the football better. So in our run blocking schemes, we got to be better. But I think it comes from just guys playing musical chairs, and one week the guy's at guard, the next week he's a tackle. It doesn't work that way, and so I got to work to fix that. Having depth, having a more well-rounded group next year is going to be very important. Coaching them harder, coaching them better, and just putting them in positions to win. So it all starts with attitude, and the offense got to have an attitude. We can't stall out. We can't leave the defense out on the field. We left a lot of plays out in the field the last couple of weeks, and so it's all there, man. If you go back and watch it, it's all there. But unfortunately, as coaches, we can't play the game. We just put them in position. That's it's just something I'm definitely learning from, and I got to find ways to negate it moving forward.
All right. Thanks for your transparency, Coach. Good luck this weekend up against Central.
Sir, thank you.
All right, Coach Vick, thank you for your time. We'll let you get back to work. The Spartans are going to be heading to North Carolina Central for this Saturday's matchup. It's going to be a football game in O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium on the campus of North Carolina Central. 2 p.m. kickoff on ESPN+. Let's roll on down to Orangeburg. Have a chat with Chennis Berry, the head football coach of the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Coach Berry, what's happening?
You doing today, Lynn?
I'm doing good, man. 2-0. The Bulldogs jumped out to a commanding lead over Morgan State, erupting for 496 yards of total offense, leading 33-10 after 3 quarters. But you had to survive a 20-point Morgan explosion in the fourth to hold on to the 36-30 win. Nonetheless, it was a win. But tell us about this football game.
Well, first of all, to God be the glory, man. We won a football game. It's tough winning in college football. So I always have to be grateful for that attitude of gratitude, man. But Morgan State, man, Damon Wilson, my guy, man, he had his team ready to play. We came out with a fast start. I mean, we scored our first touchdown in 2 plays. So we came out in a fast start. Defense creates a turnover, and we get the ball inside the 10-yard line and miss the field goal. You know, so you can't have those kind of opportunities. But we were able to do some good things in the first half. I thought offensively, you know, our quarterback played very, very well early on. Now, he missed a lot of things as well. All right, but I thought he did some good things. But, you know, all in all, you know, we went into half feeling pretty good. You know, I got on the staff pretty hard because I didn't think we were playing our best ball. Still, although we had a pretty decent lead, we weren't playing our best ball at that moment. And, you know, all in all, in the fourth quarter, like you say, man, those Morgan State Bears, they played all the way to the end. And that shows the fight and the attitude of that football team that they fought to the end and put themselves in a position to can possibly win the game. But I'm grateful to be sitting here 1-0 right now. That's always the mission, is to find a way to go 1-0. We have some things. We met as a staff. We worked it out. We had a great, amazing practice yesterday. So we know what's at stake and we know what it's all about. But what we're going to focus on this week, number one, always is discipline. DEF, discipline. Sky always start and end with discipline. E, execution. Execution in everything we do on the field, off the field, classroom, practice. All right, and F is finish. You got to finish better. And, you know, I like what we are as a football program, no doubt about it. We're heading in the right direction, but we're grateful to be sitting here 1-0 right now.
Folks, we got to look ahead now to this game against Howard in Orangeburg. Howard lost a tough one at home to Central. They're coming in here trying to regain some momentum. And this is a must game for them if they're to keep their Celebration Bowl hopes alive. Tell us what you know about the Bison and what is it going to take to win this?
Good football team. Again, Larry Scott, another guy I respect very, very well in this profession, does a good job of running this program. But, you know, my job is to get the Bulldogs ready to go, and we'll be ready. We know what's at stake. It's senior day. First and foremost, our last opportunity for our young men to play at Oliver C. Dawson Stadium, Willie E. Jeffries Field. So we want them to go out the right way. And it's a MEAC game, so we know what's at stake. And our young men will be ready to go. But I tell you what, they're doing some really good things. They do some good things on defense, man. They fly around. They're very aggressive. They do some really good things in terms of what they do schematically. Offensively, they got some guys that can make it happen. If you know anything about Howard University, they're always going to have a good running back, man, a guy that can dot the I and cross the T. You know, they're doing some good things offensively in terms of schematically, as well as on special teams. So we're going to have to play our best ball. Our guys will be locked in. We know what's at stake. And we got to just continue to fall in love with the process of becoming great. Our big emphasis is how we practice is how we play. You know, we want to make sure that we're practicing the right way, doing those mundane things over and over again the right way, and we'll find a way to accomplish the mission at the end of the week, and that's to go 1-0.
All right, Coach. We got a handful of questions coming to you from the media. You ready for them?
Let's do it.
All right, James Hill, you're on.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Orangeburg are well. How's it going today?
Mr. Hill, how you doing today? All is well here in the Bird, no doubt about it.
Yes, sir. I'm blessed. Talk a little bit about Mr. Atkins and your offense as you move forward, and you'll see the Bison this week there in Orangeburg.
Well, we'll start with, you know, the entire offense before I get into Billy. You know, we're doing some good things, but we're having what I call a lot of self-inflicted negatives. You know, we have some continuity right now because we're playing a good group of solid offensive linemen that are hitting their strides at the right time. Our running back, Tyler Smith, you've been watching the last couple of weeks. He's been consistent, a couple games over 100 yards. He's been really running the football and protecting well. If you look at our wideouts, I mean, you're talking about we play about 6 or 7 guys on the perimeter, and they're pretty talented group, man. They can really do some good things. So that gives us a chance. And then you go to Billy. Obviously, Billy has been playing really well, man. You know, he missed a few things, and he'll admit to it. The thing I like about Billy, he takes ownership. You know, he owns it first. You know, and he knows that he had statistically, you look at it and you see he had a pretty good day, but he knows that he could have played a whole lot better football, and he owns it. So I'm grateful to have Billy and how he comes to work every day. You know, we always talk about in this program, you plan your work, and then you work your plan. Well, he comes every day. He's a student of the game. He plans his work, man. He's one of them guys, he's like an office rat. He's always watching film. He's very, very inquisitive. He wants to know the whole parts of the play, the protection, how it's protected, where the route concepts are, what we're trying to accomplish per the play. So, we're grateful to have him behind center, and we're looking for big things as we go forward for the rest of the season and starting with Howard University.
All right, Coach, have a blessed week. Good luck this week.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, Coach, here's Chris Stevens with a question for you. Chris.
Thanks, Lynn. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Chris, how you doing today, man? All is well here.
Pretty good. Just how important was it? I mean, you've mentioned before that this is a whole new squad that you've put together. And so just how important was it that fourth quarter for these guys to see that the MEAC is a tough league and you literally can't take your eyes off of anybody for a second?
No, we definitely won't take anybody. Like we always respect all our opponents. Again, kudos to Morgan, man. They fought. Those guys showed a lot of fight, a lot of grit in that fourth quarter. Because, like you say, we had a pretty good lead going into the fourth. But, he's got some guys over there that really believes in what they're doing. But our team understands every week we're going to respect every opponent that we play. But we understand also that everybody is going to give us their best game. No doubt about it. We know that everybody's going to give us their best. So we got to be locked in. But it's all about the preparation. I told our guys, if you don't hold your opponent, your teammates accountable during practice, your opponents will hold you accountable on game day. So it's important on how we practice every day. And we'll have a really good week of practice. Started with yesterday. We'll go 1-0 each and every day. So hopefully we can accomplish the mission at the end of the week.
Thanks for your time as always, Coach. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, Coach, here's another one from Darryl Duvall. Darryl.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Mr. Duvall, how you doing? I'm all is well here.
Pretty good. Hey, again, Daryl Duvall from Power U Sports. Coach, I just wanted to kind of talk about, how your team executed. I mean, how y'all did this past week and executing good plays and trying to finish out that game. What is your thoughts on just a complete game?
Well, if you look at the week prior, we finally thought that we played a good game all three phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And, we wanted to do that again this past week. And we knew Morgan was going to come in and compete. And I thought we did some good things. When you really look at us, we had production on the offensive side of the ball, but we also had plays that we left out there. At the end of the day, and defensively, we've been playing good ball all year. At the end of the day, in the fourth quarter, remember what I said, it's about DEF, discipline, execution, and finish. We didn't finish the right way. So we'll put that as a point of emphasis this week. And then special teams, man, we always want to be the fountain and not the drain. Fountain, we pour into the success of the football team. All right, drain meaning we're pulling from the success of the football team. So again, we want to go every week. We try to put all three phases together, good balance on offense, be able to run the ball and pass the ball efficiently. We want to be able to stop the run on defense, all right, force teams in third and long situations. As we've been good on third down all year, I think we might be number one in the country on third down right now, third down defense. And then all in all, we want to be good in the kicking game. So we're playing decent ball at the right point of the season. We want to continue to get better as we go down the stretch. And it starts with Howard University as they come into Oliver C. Dawson Stadium this upcoming weekend.
Well, good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Darryl. Coach, final question comes from Dr. J. Kenyatta Cavill. Unmute yourself, Doc. You're muted. You're still muted there, Doc. There you go.
Kenyatta Cavill, Doctor, was inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Want to say good morning, Coach Berry.
Mr. Cavill, how you doing today, sir?
Doing well. Talking about Senior Day, want to ask you about your wide receiver, Jordan Smith, the senior, 5'11", 180 pounds for Columbia, South Carolina. Want to ask your thoughts on him and the productiveness he's bringing to the program and the type of man he is.
I tell you what, first and foremost, when you notice I started smiling when you said Jordan Smith. What an unbelievable young man. He's the only guy on our team that was on that 2021 Celebration Bowl winning team. He's the only guy that's still left. And what a great young man, man. He's a guy that's a true ambassador of our program. He's been around here for a long time, and he's having the fruits, enjoying success and reaping the benefits, man, because, he had stayed the course. He had to sit behind some really good receivers here last year. And, he played for us, but now he's able to make an impact. He is definitely, last couple games, I mean, he had almost 200 2 weeks ago. He had over 100 this past week. So he's a guy that we go to. And George Smith has really done a good job. But he's got his degree here from South Carolina State. Great young man. And he's a great ambassador to our program.
Yes, he is getting it done. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup. Keep pushing
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Always good to see you, Doc.
Thank you.
Coach, thanks for spending time with us this morning. We know you got to get to lunch and then get back to work as you do game plan for Howard University coming into Orangeburg, South Carolina. So we'll let you go, okay? Hey, just a reminder, it's going to be a Saturday at November 8th at Oliver C. Dalton Stadium in Orangeburg, 1:30 kickoff on ESPN+. Let's go to Baltimore now. Have a chat with Damon Wilson, the head football coach of the Morgan State football team, the Bears. Coach, good morning to you, Coach.
Good morning, Len. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Coach. Doing good. I mean, look, for 3 quarters in Orangeburg this past weekend, it seemed like Halloween Horror Night for the Bears. But then you erupt for 20 points to close the gap to 36-30, but you fell just short. It was a great effort in the end, but I know you wanted the W. So take us through it.
Yeah, we South Carolina State jumped out. Championship team, jumped out early on as they were executing at a high level. We gave up some explosive plays early on defensively that you can't do when you're talking about trying to be the championship team. Offensively, we didn't get going in the run game or passing game till later in the ball game. We went into halftime, had a conversation with the guys. The guys' body language kind of spoke volumes to me at halftime, where they wasn't in a panic mode. They was in a disappointed, hey, we didn't come out fast, we didn't start fast. But they said, Coach, we got a shot at this thing. And the body language and the communication on the sideline in that late third quarter, early fourth quarter was something that really showed a lot about the ball club. We have a lot of young guys playing. I mean, I was quarterback. He's a freshman, and you got a lot of freshman receivers and O-linemen making plays in the crunch time. Then we were able to execute an onside kick where we recovered that and gave us another opportunity, went down and scored, and almost executed a second one. So there's some really, really good things latter part of that ball game against a really good South Carolina State team. Unfortunate that we didn't come out with the W, but guys showed a lot of grit and showed a lot of situational football. We improved in that area towards the end of that ball game.
Well, Coach, that momentum that you're speaking about, you're going to need it Friday night because coming into Baltimore is going to be the hottest team in the MEAC, and that's the Del State Hornets. What is it going to take to get the win that you need and to send the message to your team that we are far better than people think we are?
We're going to need the team effort. I mean, Delaware State, like you mentioned, man, they're playing well in all phases of the game right now. You got to stop the running backs. They got 2 guys that really get after. The O-line is physical. They play with a lot of passion. Those guys play with a lot of energy. Definitely a well-coached team. We're going to have to come out, start fast. We're going to have to come out, make sure once again we stop the run, eliminate explosives to give ourselves a chance to win the ball game. And we got to run the ball offensively. We're going to definitely have to run the ball and complete the ball in passing game situation and to give us a chance to win on Friday.
Okay. Coach, let's get ready for some questions from the media. Teeing it up first is going to be James Hill. James.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Baltimore are well. How's it going today?
Everyone's well, James. We're on the practice field. We just got off the practice field, I should say.
Nice. Talk a little bit about the approach. It's Friday Night Lights, college version, MEAC, and a dangerous team is coming down the interstate there across the watershed. What do you see when you think about the keys for this game coming up?
I think it's a great opportunity. When you talk about having national exposure on your campus, playing against, like you said, one of the hottest teams in the FCS, not just in MEAC, but in FCS football, I think it's a great opportunity. Our guys came out today to practice well. We just bump everything up a day, if that makes sense. Your Friday is now your Thursday is now your Friday practice. So you just bump everything up a day in preparation. Coach Jackson mentioned earlier, they had a couple extra days, if you will, by playing on that Thursday night game. So they got a couple of days rest. But, for us, it's just a matter of lining up and playing sound football and making sure that we eliminate the explosive plays and that sort of thing. Campus is going to be live on Friday. I anticipate a lot of people to be here on campus. And it's a great opportunity to display your university and your ball club.
All right, Coach. Have a blessed week. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
All right. Thanks for that, James. Chris Stevens, y'all.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm good, Chris.
So you seems like you found something here with Ray Moore III. He's had a dynamite 2 weeks. First, the long run against Howard. Now, engineering that furious rally in the fourth quarter. Just where do you go from here with a quarterback that young? Do you live with the mistakes, or is it like on the job training? Because it seems like you really found something special with this young man.
So I definitely think it's some on-the-job training. Ray was the fourth guy coming into the season, so the other guys got hurt. So Ray has taken advantage of the opportunity. We thought Ray was a special kid in recruiting. We wanted to take some time to develop him and that sort of thing. We had no idea that his time was going to come sooner than later. He's taking full advantage of it. You'll see him over in the team meeting rooms, making sure he's getting extra reps, getting mental reps. And he's a young man that loves to compete. I don't care what the situation is. He loves to compete. He's right from down the street in Maryville High School. He took the team to a state championship here in Maryland. So he's a guy that knows how to be successful, knows what it looks like, and we're excited about him. Like I said, he's a guy that has a really bright future, and I'm looking forward to what he's doing right here, right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play on Friday night.
All right, thanks, Coach, for your time as always. Best of luck this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Coach. Final question for you this morning comes from Dr. J. Kenyatta Cavill. Doc.
Thank you, Lynn. Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, I wanted to ask you about a freshman, Justin Perry, 6 foot, 185-pound wide receiver from Mamella, Virginia, I believe that is. Also, while you're talking about him, the other receiver got in the end zone. He had 4 receptions, 77 yards. That was Justin getting in the end zone with a long of 38. But Joseph Kennedy Jr. had 4 receptions, 48 yards, got in the end zone. Talk about those 2 receivers, their combination, and particularly about the young man as a freshman. What is he doing to get things done for you?
So first, I'm gonna go with JoJo. JoJo Kennedy is a guy that was here when we got here as a staff. He was a guy that I probably was going to wash my hands of after his freshman year. He just could not get right, if you would. And we had a conversation, and I promise you, man, he has turned around and doing a great job. He's a guy that's graduating, guy that now is a captain on the team. So everything that he's getting on the field, of receiving on the field, is really he deserves it. He deserves it. And as far as Perry's a freshman from the country, as you mentioned, and he's having a great freshman campaign. We have a number of freshmen that's playing right now, but Justin is taking advantage of all of the opportunities that he's receiving. He's a guy you'll see on the field before practice and after practice. Like I said, he's very nice little groove. He doesn't talk much. He's a guy that always has questions, but he's not a rah-rah guy. He's a guy that wants to get out there and work. And you'll see him on Sunday, off season, on the field by himself, getting some routes in. So he's a special kid, and we look forward to continue to highlight him a little bit in our offense.
Thank you, Coach. Amazing story and testament when you talk about the players and just the different trajectories. One freshman getting it done early, and another one not so much as a freshman, but turns out to really change it all around. So thank you for sharing a little insight of what that looks like. Good luck this Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Doc.
And look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Doc. Thank you, Coach. I know you got a short week to get ready, but at least you don't have to travel, right?
That's right.
So we'll let you go, Coach. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Hey, it's going to be Morgan State against Dell State in Baltimore at Hughes Stadium Friday night under the lights. It's going to be a 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPNU prime time. Prime time. Well, it's been a great day. What an exciting week it was across the MEAC as we move one step closer now to the championship of the league and the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Buckle up, because it's only going to get hotter from here. It all kicks off this Friday night. You just heard us talking about it in Baltimore. And by the time the rest of the matchups wrap up on Saturday, we're sure to have some fireworks, some shakeups, and maybe even a new front runner in the chase for the MEAC crown. Well, that concludes our weekly MEAC football video conference presented by our great partners at WellsFargo. Before we end the conference, we'd like to also thank all that assisted and participated in today's video conference. MEAC would also like to thank its corporate partners for their continued support of the league and its Elite 8 member institutions. Now, as a reminder, the next video conference is next Monday, next Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. So for more information on MEAC football and other sports, visit MEACsports.com and follow the MEAC on social media at MEAC Sports on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Have a great football week.